Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog, and I want to talk about the win over Detroit because I'm gonna be honest with you boys, I was not very confident in it. I had it on, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. Like, I think people in the Discord server realized that at some point. Like, I had it on, but I wasn't really paying a whole lot of attention to it. But it was the idea that, like, I was not confident in that game. I was like, dude, we have to beat Detroit, but, like, we have the most losses to lottery teams of any playoff team at the moment. So I was like, I just wasn't confident in it. I was like, and like, to start off the game, it was looking suspect at best. Like, to start off the game, everybody was like, it's not. They're kind of kicking our ass out the gate. And then as time went on, like the third, fourth quarter, second half, we came back. Tyrese Haliburton has been playing like shit. I'm going to call it what it is. You know, I don't criticize Tyrese Haliburton much, but I'm going to do it in this video. He has been playing like shit. However, last night, he played relatively well. 20 points, 9 assists, 4 steals. Only shot 3 3-pointers. It seemed like he was really shying away from the 3-point shot and prioritized getting to the basket, which is cool. Like, I'm going to be honest, I wish Tyrese Haliburton would do that anyway. Like, I feel like what separates the good players from the great players in this league is guys who are capable of drawing fouls. And not that Tyrese Haliburton isn't capable of it, but I feel like he settles for 3-point shots a little bit too much. Like, sometimes he takes shots and I'm like, dude, why the fuck are you taking these shots? Like, I know you can make shots from the logo, but that doesn't mean you have to take them all the time. Like, I don't need to see 2 or 3 of them a game. That's all I'm saying. Like, I know you're capable of that, but it's just the idea. There's been a lot of things going on, like obviously Tyrese Haliburton hasn't been playing up to snuff. Aaron Nesmith is just coming back from an injury. Ben Shepherd didn't really have a good night the other night. Andrew Nembhard actually had an okay game. He had 7 points, 3 assists, I think, shot 3 of 6 from the field. A lot of people were getting on my ass about the Andrew Nembhard is trash video. Obviously, I don't full-on believe that he's trash. I think a lot of you know that. I think most of you, if you've been subscribed to the channel for a long time, know that last year I was really high on Andrew Nembhard. It's just this year, Andrew Nembhard has done a lot of really boneheaded shit, and like, I understand he's the best defender on the team, okay? Like, that's by, like, a fucking, like, statistically by a fucking mile, he is the best defender on the team, but it's just the idea, like, I just expect better from him, you know? Like, I understand he's a young guy, I understand he's in, like, his second year, but he's a guy that I look at and I'm just like, dude, like, I just wish he'd stop playing hero ball. That's all. Like, I wish he would take smarter shots. I wish he would be a more willing passer. I wish he, you know, like, he doesn't have to shoot the ball every time he touches it. You know, like, it's minor things. I don't hate Tyrese Haliburton. Anybody who's, like, been a long-time subscriber of the channel knows that I was actually really high on Andrew Nembhard last year. I understand he's having a sophomore slump. I don't hate him. I don't want him traded off the team. But he's a guy that I'm like, if the team trades him, like, I understand why they did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would understand why. But I don't think they're going to. I think we're going to have Andrew Nembhard next season. I also think Ben Matherin's going to come back fucking phenomenal. I think he's just going to use this injury to, like, get in the gym and become fucking ridiculous. Like, I honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to be a 6 through 8 seed. Like, no doubt, 6 through 8. Okay, like, we would have to really seriously fall apart to be in the play-in at this point. However, 6 through 8 is still up for grabs. Like, 1 win and 1 loss is what separates us between 6, 7, and 8. Okay, but the thing is, like, my problem with this team stems from the idea that we win games that we're probably not supposed to win, and then we lose games that we're not supposed to lose. And one thing that the Knicks do, and Orlando does, and even Miami does, that we don't seem to do, is beat the fucking lottery teams. You know, like, you could argue that if we had won 5 or 6 of those lottery games, right, the 6th seed wouldn't even be a question, you know, or the, you know, maybe even the 4th seed, or fuck, even the 3rd seed, you know, like I don't think people understand, like, had we just, like, I think we've lost like 13 games to lottery teams. Don't quote me on it, but I've seen that circulated on Twitter. That's like 13 games are in that ballpark. If we just won 6 or 7 of those games, of those 13, right, or even if it's five or six of those games, like if we just win 6 of those games, half of them, like we're pretty much a solidified, top 5 seed in the East. So that's my problem with it. And Pascal Siakam, I just want to say this. I don't care what anybody says about the Pascal Siakam trade at this point. It was a good trade. Okay? I think he's going to come back. Sounds like he's going to come back. Sounds like he really enjoys playing in Indy. But he had 25 points last night, and I just want to praise his three-point shooting. Because when we got Pascal Siakam, I remember people in the comment section saying, Pascal Siakam's not a good three-point shooter. And while I would agree, I always thought he was a better guy than his stats really shown. And we've seen that with the Pacers, right? Like, ever since he was traded to the Pacers, he's shooting about 37% from 3. Like, it's like 0.368, which is essentially 37%. He's like 0.2 percentage points off of shooting 37% from 3. So, I think that's going to be a really big deal. The other thing is, too, with this team, right? This upcoming offseason is going to be fucking ridiculous. Like, I just feel like Ben Matherin's going to see us playing in the playoffs without him. I think that's going to fuel him to, like, really, like, want to do better. Especially if we lose in the first round. Like, I think this injury to Ben Mathurin, it sucks that it happened. Like, I'm just going to call it what it is. I wish it didn't happen. I really do. I feel like the playoff experience for him would have been even a bigger driver, maybe, like, to work harder this offseason. But for all I know, like, him not playing could be enough, like, more than enough. I just feel like Ben Mathurin is so competitive that he understands, like, they're going to be playing in the playoffs without him, and if they get bounced in the first round, he's going to be, like, sitting at home on his couch watching it, be like, when I get better, like, we're fucking going again. And like, I think third year Ben Mathurin is going to be something special. Like, I have an inkling about that. Like, I just feel like third year Ben Mathurin is going to be worthwhile, I think. And we also just re-signed Kendall Brown to a 3-year deal. I didn't see that coming at all. I'm just going to call it what it is. Like, I did not see Kendall Brown getting a 3-year, multi-year deal with us. Like, I just didn't see that happening. But he's going to get more minutes next year. Andrew Nembhard is a guy that I think is, I understand he's having a sophomore slump. He's going to be good next year, I think. Aaron Nesmith is locked in. I think we're going to bring back Obi Toppin. He's a restricted free agent depending on what people offer him, but I feel like Obi Toppin's going to come back. I think he fits what we do a little too well to let him walk, I think. Jalen Smith is going to be a guy that I unfortunately I feel is not going to come back in free agency. Who knows? But he is a guy that I just feel like someone's going to offer him a very, very nice bag, and we're not gonna be capable of matching it because we need Pascal Siakam. But there's a lot of guys that I look at. Isaiah Jackson will be back. He has a team option for 2024, so after next season, we're gonna have to shell out some bread for Isaiah Jackson if we want to bring him back. Doug McDermott's a guy that I just don't think is coming back. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, Doug McDermott, like, yesterday was, like, the first good game I think he's played, against Detroit last night. That was the first, like, good game I think I've seen him play as a Pacer since we traded for him. And, he scored 9 points. I think shot 4 of 6, made, I think, 1 of 3 3-pointers. So Doug McDermott, I think, is gone. Like, there's a couple guys on our roster that I think are gone. Jalen Smith, I think, is gone. I think Doug McDermott is gone. Oscar Tshiebwe, I think, could be back. I think he's a guy they might bring back on a small deal. But yeah, there's a lot of guys with their contracts are over. TJ McConnell's got 2 years left. Damn. So we're gonna have to extend TJ McConnell this upcoming season. I hope we do, because he's been very good. James Johnson might be gone. Isaiah Wong's contract is over, and Oscar Tshiebwe's contract is over. So Isaiah Jackson will be back. Jalen Smith, I don't think will be back. Like, if Jalen Smith picks up his player option, I'd be very shocked. Like, he's played so well this year that I just think someone's going to offer him a lot of money to be a starter. That's or more money than we're willing to be a starter. So I don't know, man. Like, the team's kind of sporadic at the moment, if I'm being honest. But it was just nice to see us beat Detroit, because I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like, I told the guy at work, the guidance counselor at work that is also a Pacers fan. I was like, bro, if we can't beat Detroit, bro, like, I'm packing it in for the season. Like, I'll watch when we get to the fucking playoffs, but, I just want to say I really like what Tyrese Haliburton did in this game. I like the idea of driving to the basket. I like the idea that he's being more aggressive. I understand that, like, I like the idea that he acknowledges that his 3-point shot is not falling, and instead of just chucking threes to like 9 3-pointers a game, he's like, I'll chuck 3. I'll try to get to the basket, and I'll try to draw fouls. And you know what? Like, that's how you become a more mature basketball player. Is like, if the shot's not falling, you just find other things to work for you. And that's what we need out of Tyrese Haliburton. And Siakam has been fucking amazing. Honestly, I know there's people who argue what Pascal Siakam is worth, but these past couple games, it seems like he's been like one of the only guys to actually show up and like be the guy. He scored 25 points last night against Detroit, but I think next year the trio of Haliburton, Mathurin, and Siakam is going to be something very special. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, boys. I think we could potentially be top 5. I definitely think we're top 5 material, but I think we could be in the top 3 if we're fucking phenomenal. But the offseason always, you never know what the offseason brings. Like, someone could load up like Orlando. Paolo Banchero is going to be fucking amazing. Like, I as a Pacers fan, Paolo Banchero is going to be fucking amazing. Like, I just want people to acknowledge that. Like, regardless of what you think about Paolo Banchero this year particularly, he has been fucking phenomenal. And Orlando could decide they want to spend some bread. Like, there's gonna be teams I want people to understand. We're pretty much gonna have to overpay for Pascal Siakam, and the reason I say that is because he's an unrestricted free agent. If you think like Orlando's not gonna pull out their checkbook for him, or any of these other teams in the East. If you think, like, even Toronto, like, even though Toronto got rid of him, like, they got RJ Barrett, they got Emmanuel Quickly. If Toronto even offers him a contract, the idea that he likes Toronto so much, that he might consider going back, like, we're gonna have to make a serious pitch. I just want people to get that through their head now. Like, I understand it's obvious that he likes playing in Indy. It's obvious that like Indy has embraced him as like one of our own, and that's great. I'm glad for that, because you need to make traded players that you want to keep feel welcome, and I think that not only the fans but the locker room has done that. But still, like, you got to make an enticing offer, and unfortunately, an enticing offer is probably in the ballpark of like 4 or 5 years, $160-180 million. Even though I think what he's worth is about the same as Julius Randle, we're gonna have to overspend a little bit, maybe, I don't know, maybe if he were to take a home team discount, right? Like, I'm gonna call it what it is. If for whatever reason Pascal Siakam were to take a discount, which I don't think he's going to do, but if he were to take a discount, I might have to fuck around and get a Siakam jersey. You know what I'm saying? I already got a Paul George jersey. I have an Oladipo jersey. I feel horrible for not having a Haliburton jersey. But the thing is, I don't buy jerseys anymore because, like, Paul George and Oladipo both left. And, I hate buying jerseys for players that, like, I buy their jersey and then 2 years later they fucking leave. That irritates me, because then I never wear it again. I've got 2 of them in my closet that I've got 2 of them in my closet that I never wear. Like, I have a Paul George 24 jersey in my closet because when Paul George was drafted, I was crazy about him. But now I'm just rambling. So, anyway, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.